Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be teaching how to draft and cut this Bubu dress with a lace cutout in front. Now I have roughly 3 yards of fabric, that's why I'm drafting on a pattern. So if your fabric's enough, please draft directly on the fabric. Now I'm coming out by 3 inches for the back neckline and 1.5 inch for the depth for the back, and I'm going to connect 2 points together. Now for the neckline for the front, I'm going to be using 7 inches, but I later increased it to 7.5. So this depends on your preference. If you want it deeper or higher, please mark it. Now I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurements divided by 2. Now from the shoulder measurement, I'm going to be marking my sleeve length, and I'm going to add 2 inches for the sewing allowance, as you can see. Now from there, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. This is for the shoulder slope. From the shoulder slope, I'm marking 9 inches for the sleeve opening. And I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope straight down to the shoulder measurements. And I'm going to connect for the sleeve opening. I'm coming down straight with a straight line. Now for the shoulder to bust measurement, I'm using 10.5, and on that measurement I am going to put the biggest measurement, body measurement, which is the hip, plus 4 inches. So I divided my hip divided by 4. Whatever I have, I added 4 inches because the Bubu dress is not supposed to be fitted. Now I'm going to measure whatever I have on that line, and I'm going to take it all the way down to the length of this dress. Now remember, I said that I am drafting on a pattern because my fabric is roughly 3 yards, so I'm trying to manage it. But if you have enough fabric for this design, please, you can draft directly on the fabric. So I'm just using my curve ruler to make a curve on the armhole so that it's not too straight and it has that curvy effect. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to cut it out. So first we are going to be cutting out the back neckline. Now one of the reasons why I decided to use the patterns is because since we have a cutout in front, I do not want to waste the fabric by cutting out the lace part. So I'm going to cut out the part that I need for the lace on the pattern paper so that I don't have to waste that on the fabric. So if you have little fabric and you're trying to manage it, then you cut on the pattern paper first before transferring to the fabric. So now I'm just cutting through for the sleeve opening down to the shoulder slope. So the next thing I'm going to do now is from the neckline for the front, I'm going to connect it down to the armhole. This will be the cutout for the lace. But first of all, I'm going to fold my fabric into 2, as you can see that I've done here, and then we are going to cut out the back neckline first. So I'm going to be adding 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the shoulder, as you can see me doing. So add 1/2 inch on the shoulder all the way down. So now I'm just going to add the remaining length of the fabric because the paper was not enough to get the full length. So I'm just going to be adding the remaining length that I need to get so that my full length for the back is going to be complete. So this is just me trying to measure out what I have on the pattern paper on the fabric itself, and then I'm going to cut it out.
second guess, we live in the moment, cause we are so free. And in this moment, life is like a dream. Live in the moment, cause we are.
So now for the front neckline, I'm going to cut out the V shape first on the paper, and then I'm going to follow the lines that we use to connect from the V shape down to the armhole. I'm also going to cut it out. So the first part I'm cutting out is the pattern for the lace fabric. So first we are going to keep the lace fabric pattern aside, and then we'll use the Ankara fabric to cut using this pattern paper. So I'll fold my fabric into two, as you can see that I've done here, and I'm going to be adding 1/2 inch on top because we're going to be joining the lace to the Ankara fabric, so we need allowance to do that. So I'm adding 1/2 inch on top, and then I'm going to cut out exactly what I have on the pattern paper. That is after I added the remaining length to make up for the full length of this gown. So now I've placed my pattern paper for the lace on top of the lace. Now I'm cutting it 2 pieces. So I'm folding your lace into 2, and I'm going to be adding allowance on the upper part, which will be joining the shoulders, as you can see, as I'm doing right now. I'm adding 1/2 inch on the upper part to join the shoulders, and then I'm going to be adding 1/2 inch at the bottom too, so that we'll be able to join it to the other parts of the fabric. On the neckline, I left just a very tiny allowance because I'll be using a bias to turn the neckline. So I'm going to use a bias now. As you can see, I've used a bias to turn the neckline. Now I'm going to bring the fabric, the Ankara fabric, and I'm going to place the lace on the midpoint of the Ankara fabric, right side facing right side, and I'm going to pin it down. Please take note that we're pinning from the midpoint. Do the same thing for the other side also. Right side facing right side from the midpoint, and let them overlap at the at the midpoint, and then I'm going to pin it all the way down, and I'm going to sew on 1/2 inch. So now I finished sewing on 1/2 inch, and I've ironed it, and this is how it looks like. So now I am going to bring the back of the dress. I already turned the neckline for the back, and I serged it already. So I'm going to place it right side facing right side, and I'm going to use the facing to turn to the other side so that I'll be able to join the shoulder. So right side facing right side, and I'm using the facing turning to the other side, as you can see me doing, and pinning it down. So we're going to be sewing on 1/2 inch. Now for the pockets, I brought out a piece of fabric and I folded it into 4 with the width to be 7 to 8 inches, and I'm placing my palm on top, and I'm just tracing out my palm, as you can see, and I'm going to cut it out with 1/2 inch allowance all around. So this is like a simple way of cutting out your pockets. So I have 4 pieces because remember we folded it into 4. Now on the shoulders to where our waistline is 18 inches, so I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to come down by 8 inches. That will be the opening for the pocket. So measure from the shoulder to the waistline and mark it. Right now I'm notching it, and I'm also notching the width, which is also 8 inches. So from the waistline measurement come down by 8 inches. Now I'm placing my pocket right side facing right side from one notch to the other, and I'm going to pin it down, and I'm going to be sewing on half an inch. So I'm pinning it on the other side, so right side facing right side, and I'm pinning it down. Now I've finished sewing the pockets to the dress, as you can see. Now this is how it is. Now the next thing we're going to do now is to fold in our allowance for the sleeve length. Remember, I left 2 inches, so I'm going to do that on both sides. After doing that, I'm going to now close up the sides of the dress all the way from the armhole down into the pockets, straight down to the length of this dress. And then I'm going to hem the bottom, and this is the final result. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share our videos. If you have any questions, please don't forget to drop them in the comment section. I'll be answering everything. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.